Hello everybody, this is Gary Vaynerchuk and this is The Thunder Show, Wine Library TV. You know the spiel, I don't need to yell it anymore. I think people are starting to pronounce my name correctly, but drop the C before the K when you spell it, would ya? Chianti. Chianti Classico especially, and even a Chianti Rufina Reserva, which gets kind of fun. But we're going to talk about Chianti Classico, the first two wines, and the rules and how it's changed and what Chianti and what makes Chianti. A lot has changed since 1996 in Chianti when the rules changed, and a lot more is changing. For example, starting with the 2006 vintage, you may not know this, but white wine was allowed in Chiantis prior to what's going to be the 2006 vintage, which these are still allowed to have this. But you were able to use Trebbiano and Malvasia, white wine grapes, in the Chianti world, and you will no longer be able to do that. The other thing now is that Chianti these days needs to be a minimum of 80% Sangiovese, which is the main grape and the main component, but the other 20% can be Canaiolo, Colleirino, Cabernet, or Merlot, which is very controversial amongst the old style Chianti peeps. But Chianti is, obviously something that is very popular, very misunderstood. A lot of people think Chianti is the grape. For example, we just covered that. If you want it to be Reserva, you need to barrel age it for 24 months and a minimum of 3 months in bottle. So there's a lot of rules and laws to making Chianti Classico, and you always want to look for it to say Classico because those are definitely a different breed, usually a different quality. And we're going to taste these three today to see what they are, including 2 Chianti Classicos and 1 Chianti Rufina Reserva, which is a wine that a lot of people have been buzzing about and I have to try. So that's really why that's here. Anything else I wanted to talk about with Chianti? Not that I can think of. So let's get right into it. Rufino, 2003 Chianti Classico Reserva, $20 US, and we needed to put this on the show because this is so drank by so many people, and I have not been a fan of it in the past and have tried to get people off of it to no avail. Continues to be massively unpopular, but I don't hate on Rufino. It's not like I hate them for any specific reason. They did have that one problem. Anyway, it was between, girls, flagpole after school, that kind of stuff. Anyway, but they're at a price point where I think there's a lot of alternatives. So I'm excited trying the 03. It was a hot vintage. It might be much more New World in its style, and I'm curious to see what's going on here. So you can see it's got some nice dark color. Chianti Classicos and Chiantis in general are such traditionally drank wines, and there's a lot of people watching now that have family members that will only drink Chianti. So I'm excited for this episode. A little subdued, but inside, massively thrilled and pumped and ready to go. Let's give this wine a little bit of a sniff action. It's coming across with some old rotten leaves come to mind. Very unpleasant in its nose, so aromatically I'm already a little bit concerned. It does have a little bit of a garbage truck component on the nose. Nothing really too exciting on the nose. Let's give it a whirl. There's some sour cherry going on here. This wine continues not to learn, in my opinion. I mean, this is not a bad Chianti. It's drinkable. I'm sure there's people that think it's great. But here's the problem with wine. With wine. Too many people drink the same thing over and over and never expand their horizons. I'm sure a lot of people that drink Chianti, Rufina tan label, have not explored other things, or maybe 1 or 2 things and said, oh no, the Rufino, that's where my heart is. You know what I hate is when that person loves that wine and then you make them try something else and they don't like it as much. It's, see, I love Rufino, it's my favorite. I was right, this sucks. That was one other wine. And that's a major, massive problem in the wine world. Another major, massive problem is wines like this dominating sales. This is by far our biggest selling Chianti in the shop, hands down. I'm going to say it's one of the most overpriced wines I've done in Wine Library in a while. This to me is an $8 quality Chianti. Just very off balance. It's got some flavor component, but it feels very average and blah and meh and whatever else you want to call it. It's got some sour cherry, a little bit of, lead component, but not lead, pencil shavings, maybe lead, yeah, like a pencil. It's really like cherries and a pencil. And you know what? It's really unpleasant on the finish. This is not a wine I'm feeling. I'm going to score this wine 79 points. There's some good weight to it, good acidity, tannins. But all in all, just a very average and dull wine, and not something I can see myself getting very excited about. Let's move on. Antinori, Pepoli, 2004 Chianti, 90 points, Wine Spectator, 17 bones, another massively exciting Chianti Classico, a wine that a lot of people drink, wines that in some past vintages like 97 and 90 have been remarkable, so I'm excited about trying this. Let's see where this wine's going. Let's give us a little bit of a snippy sniff. Once again, not the best nose. Again, a little bit aromatically challenged. Does have a little bit more bright cherry in it than the other wines, than the prior wine, excuse me. Is Bobby slipping something under my door? Zoom in, Mott. Not bad. You can zoom back out. That was fun. Much better mouthfeel, much more structure. I would beg that everybody, it's unfortunate. Are we being attacked? What is that? It might be the wine establishment is angry. Anyway, I really wish that everybody had, could afford $37 taste-offs like this, but I know everybody can't. But if you were here right now with me, which I really wish you were, you would be able, I think it's coming from the light. I really wish, touch it, just like touch it. But
I can't reach that.
Stay on the chair, don't be scared. Sorry folks, the light's acting up. Is it? Alright, it's fine. That's where it's coming from though, forget it. Anyway, oh my, the man. I wish everybody had a chance to sit here and taste through these two wines and see the clear-cut difference in volume and weight. Just put on my table, please. And weight on the palate. The Antinori has much more weight, much more refinement, just thicker, juicier, more exciting on the mouthfeel. And who doesn't want to get all up in that when it's compared to a thin and not interestingly flavored wine? I mean, there's just no clear difference greater than these two wines side by side. Antinori being $3 less, having much more beautiful, luscious mouthfeel. That being said, it still is a little bit challenging in its flavor profile. It's limited, it's one-dimensional. I do get some taffy, which I like, dark licorice, which is good. I get some darkness. It's blackberry. I get a little bit of a. There's almost like a weird little duck sauce component to this wine, which is kind of weird. That the Chinese food, the duck sauce, that's kind of cool. Which I get, which is kind of interesting on the palate. But all in all, a solid Chianti. I'm going to go 86 points on this. I don't know where the Spectator got excited to go 90 points on this. It's good, solid Chianti. I don't hate it. I would never pay $17 for this. I do give it a pass. You can see how much better it was than the last wine. Yeah. Anyway, I did want to mention that I will be in the store this upcoming Saturday from 11 a.m., I would say, through about 6 or 7. So many of you have been asking. I've missed so many Saturdays in a row. So please, if you have a chance, this is Monday, so you've got all week to plan. Please come out and say hello. I'm just really excited to put on my throwback jersey and help people select wine. Haven't done it in a while. Really looking forward to it. We have a big book signing for my favorite book. We'll talk about that more in the upcoming shows. And I'm pretty excited about it. So if you have any chance, road trip time, I will be here, and I really want to help you out. We may even bring Mod out. Make him lose his Saturday. So he's getting scared. He's getting scared. All right. Vittoria, Salpiana, 2003, Bucellali, Chianti Rufina, Reserva. This wine is $25 US, 93 points. Ian Danjani, which is writing for, not Ian Doran from Wine Library, but Ian, who's writing for Stephen Tanzer these days. 93 points, 25 bones. I'm excited about this wine, and let's see what happens here. It's got some nice color. Let's see what's going on here. Let's give it a little bit of a sniffy sniff. Now this has a very interesting, powdered cinnamon component on the nose mixed with like blackberry jam. Very interesting. I also get a little hint of green beans component, which I'm really enjoying, like the English peas. Yeah, this is kind of nice. There's a little hint of sweaty armpit, but very subtle, just like, you know, the ladies know. You like when your man's a little sweaty, right? Admit it. Kind of like that kind of action. But that's very subtle, but I kind of get it as I pull away. There's a little bit of that going on. Really interesting nose, very pretty. Again, the armpit is very subtle, trust me, but it's a little bit there. I really enjoy the cinnamon and blackberry. And again, there's that English pea component, which I'm enjoying quite a bit. So the nose is considerably better than the last two wines. Let's see what it tastes like on my palate. All right, this wine has to be readjusted to like a 71. Sorry, SS. This wine is serious lushness. If you like the chunk, if you like the little love handles, if you love the little meat on your bones, this is a wine for you. This is Pat Jesus. I had to go there. You know how little wine we swallow, and WLTV makes me unpopular sometimes. This wine is what it's all about. This wine has enormous complexity, beautiful, luscious fruit. I mean, like really going to the farmer's market in, you know, in Pennsylvania somewhere where the fruit is ripe and just getting your hands in all the different berries. Take a couple of these, and just smashing them in your mouth. That's how pure this fruit feels. It's just delicious, which I love. I love delicious. Do you love delicious, Mott? Bill Smith, who just came from a meeting? Anybody who loves to put things in their mouth appreciates delicious. Embrace the delicious, taste the delicious, feel the delicious. Bill, stay here. I'm almost done. He ruined my rant. Goddamn Bill. Eat the delicious. And this wine has the delicious. It's got massive smoked, hickory, beefy kind of flavors on the mid palate, which transition gorgeously into a long, luscious jam, the best fruit jam and the purest fruit jam that you've ever had in your entire life. I've really got to kind of get in here because the cinnamon is dancing on the finish. What came on the nose finished, so it opened and it closed. That I appreciate. This is on some different stuff, and I wanted to use a different S word because this wine is exactly what I look for and what gets me excited about Tuscany and what gets me excited about Italy. And please, right now, can I have some veal? Oh, man, I mean, this is really where it's at. I love this wine. It woke me up. I appreciate it. I want to embrace it. I want to befriend it. Friend me up, by the way. And more importantly, find this wine. This is a wine that you're going to appreciate if you're down on Italian wines or if you really want it. It makes me laugh that there's a $5 difference between these wines. I mean, it's like the difference between WLTV and all the other wine video shows that have tried to do something. It's a big difference. I'm gonna zing you on that one, and I'm gonna score this wine 93 plus points. I'm all bowdy and rowdy on this wine because this wine brings the thunder. Question of the day. What is your favorite show on the internets besides WLTV? But if it's WLTV, just put it in there. I like it. I need it. I need coddling. My mom loved me so much. Because you, with a little bit of me, we're changing. Say it with me. I'm listening. I've tapped your computer. The wine world.